he's coming with his sleeve hand to your hand that's on the lapel, and he's going around the waist with the other hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two things here. You could prevent the shoulder from being trapped, right? So by keeping the post on the neck, or when the arm gets trapped, creating enough distance, rotating your elbow so it rests on the biceps and cutting away.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then to prevent sort of a later stage sumigaeshi from coming, if he gets that 2-on-1 and the shoulder is there, you want to pulse on that shoulder. Block the shoulder. Forearm goes over the bicep. It's not very helpful. So 9 times out of 10, when you're asking me for this kind of a thing, it's not going to be helpful. You have to ask the right question, send me the corresponding video.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. I want to talk about a question I get all the time. What am I doing wrong? I get this question day in and day out. I even did a seminar recently out in Michigan. We went to Monroe Jiu-Jitsu and we went to Shojin Judo.
Yeah.
And I'm back doing seminar tours now. So if you guys are interested, you reach out to me and then we'll make something happen. But so many guys came up to me like, hey, man, I'm going against tall people. What am I doing wrong? And it's just not enough context for me to give very good, meaningful advice. And I get messages all the time through Instagram. Hey, what am I doing wrong? So that's what we want to talk about.
Okay, yeah. So it's like an easy question to ask, but not an easy question to answer. And that is the problem, right?
Yep.
So you think you're going to talk more about how to ask the right question, or what do you think? Like, it's more about what are some of those concrete steps to kind of ask the right question, I guess?
You were involved in two sides of this question.
Yeah.
You one time said to me, hey, man, X, Y, and Z, what am I doing wrong? Do you remember specifically?
Was it about like me with Uchimata?
It was like a lefty guy that you're talking about. It was very specific. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you could ask me now for the public record, and I'll tell you if it's a good question or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. So I have this guy, he lefty, very good lefty. He played college judo in Japan.
Yeah.
And he does this very weird style where he does a lot of sumigaeshi kind of thing and kenkaiutsu.
Yep.
And I just couldn't close the distance and grab the the sleeve arm or anything to attack properly. What am I doing wrong?
Interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of missing context here.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, what is his weight category?
Oh, he's about my weight class. Yeah.
Okay, so he's about your weight class. That's good. Yeah. What sort of positioning are your hands? Right side versus left side, you said, but do you have inside? Does he have outside? Does he go around the back? Does he have back and sleeve, outside sleeve, or does he go 2-on-1 around the waist?
He does like the weird stuff that you wouldn't really expect from a Japanese player, like 2-on-1, outside a lot. And even if I get so he's comfortable with me being inside, and even if I get the outside grip, first of all, I'm not too good with the outside grip anyway, but he can effectively block me. Yeah.
Yeah, so he can't really do sumigaeshi when you're on the outside because your arm doesn't get trapped.
Right. But he will block my attacks, and then he'll switch around 2-on-1 or reach around, and then he'll spin me. He loves to spin me around and then flip the other way.
Okay, great. So you can't get that far sleeve?
It's really hard. He's so good at swatting that away, and then get some.
Okay, so now we have context. Now I could visually see it in my head. Yeah. So if you're able to ask this question, you have to be able to verbalize a lot of the actions. And then we have to diagnose where the issue is. So both parties, the person asking and the person receiving the question, needs to be able to have this dialogue in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's number one. If you had video of it, that's a different story.
Then you can...
then you can send it to me, right? Yeah. And then a lot of the times people send me one little clip of him getting thrown. What could I have done to defend it?
Yeah.
That's the worst because I don't know what the gripping exchanges were. Yeah. I don't know what exchange happened before. I don't know what you're reacting to in order for him to go. I don't know if that was a direct attack or something he set up way early in the round. All these different things that are taken context. The worst is if you send me a 45-minute video of the entire class, I have to sift through it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, so guys, if you do this, I'm not going to respond. I even said, actually just 3 days ago, someone said, hey man, this is me doing randori. What am I doing wrong? And it was a link to a YouTube video from the class. And he was like
the whole class.
Yeah, it was like guys doing randori. And he's like, it starts around 45 seconds in or something like that. And I was like, I'm not sifting through finding your match specifically and then looking at your match. Like, it's a waste of my time. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
If you want me to help you, clip your portion of the randori and give me specific questions, unless you could even ask me the proper questions with the right. Because if you don't know what's going on, then it's like whatever I'm going to say is not going to make any sense anyway.
So there, I think, okay, this is very interesting because there are two sides of the problem. So the person asking the question needs to be able to articulate the right question, but a lot of times that's hard because the person asking the question just doesn't know. You know, a lot of times people wouldn't even know. Like even for me, supposedly someone who's pretty good at judo wasn't able to articulate my question as best as I can, right?
Yeah.
And it's even worse for beginners who would be asking these questions more often than not. So on the other side is someone who's trying to help the person needs to be able to extract the right question out of that person.
Yes.
And then there's a term for that in the tech world. It's called the XY problem.
So, interesting. I love it, Peter. You're such a nerd.
I know. It's like I love this problem because it happens all the time when I deal with my coworkers or even my parents when they ask me about technical stuff.
I can't turn my iPad on. Can you help me?
That's exactly what it is. So a lot of times what happens is when people ask questions, they want to ask specific questions about how they're doing things instead of what they actually want to achieve. So for example, my mom would ask me like, hey, how do I where do I like say this is a conflict situation? She doesn't even know where the Google search box is, for example. So it's like, hey, where do I type my search query in Google? But then I have to really find out what she really wants to do is like she wants to buy a handbag or something, right? Like where do I search for the website? So you need to be able to extract that out of it. So the people ask X, but what they really want to do is Y.
Yeah, maybe she wants to buy a Korean handbag from Korea, and you got to download a VPN, and then
right. But then exactly. That would be a good answer. She'll be asking questions about like, hey, how do I access Korean websites that are blocked? But that's not really what she may want to do. She might be able to just buy it on Amazon. So if she had asked, like, hey, how do I buy a Korean handbag? Which is what she ultimately wants.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think, what am I doing wrong? This question kind of has an element to it. A lot of times people ask the wrong question because they're focusing on, they don't know the right way to do things.
Yeah. I think for those guys, I think just a visual thing of like, hey, this is me doing randori with this person.
Yeah.
Here it is, the whole round.
Yeah.
One round. You know, and then that way you could give a little bit more, and then a person like me can diagnose it by saying, you know, sometimes you walk out there and get slammed Ochi. What did I do wrong? You just didn't see the thing coming. You know, you don't have enough experience. You're not in a good position. Oh, but I was 50-50. Okay, that's a good observation. Yes, but he's just so much more of a physical specimen than you. You didn't see it coming and just ripped it and you fell over. You know, you got to be able to react. You have to be able to prevent this stuff. Yeah, it's like, what did I do wrong? Yeah, it's like there's just so many things that could have gone wrong for you to get taken down.
I think a lot of times people are saying, what did they do? What they did wrong? But a lot of times there's a whole context around it that you did everything right, but you still got thrown. That'll be the case, you know?
Yeah. So anyway, back to your thing. Okay, so now we have a right side versus left side situation. He's not throwing you, Sumi, when you're on the outside. Okay, so now my question to you is, are you able to get the hand on first?
Usually he kind of, he lets me, he's happy to start gripping.
He let you put the initial hand on first. Because generally, if you like inside and he likes outside, it's very easy for the things to mix. So when you post that hand on, does he immediately go over or does he grab that sleeve?
He, man, I can't really remember nowadays, but I think he's fine with me getting the first grip, but he immediately starts controlling like he will go around and then try to suck me in and whatever. So he basically immediately neutralizes my sleeve hand Oh no, the lapel hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's coming with his sleeve hand to your hand that's on the lapel, and he's going around the waist with the other hand.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's two things here. You could prevent the shoulder from being trapped, right? So by keeping the post on the neck, or when the arm gets trapped, creating enough distance, rotating your elbow so it rests on the biceps and cutting away.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then to prevent sort of a later stage sumigaeshi from coming, if he gets that 2-on-1 and the shoulder is there, you want to post on that shoulder.
Like with my left hand?
With your other hand.
Oh, my
with
right
your left hand.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden, it's very difficult for him, and you could posture up and keep your distance.
So like put both hands on his his left side.
You're gonna go double collar.
Double collar. Okay.
Yeah, because now,
okay.
Yeah, so now you're like controlling the shoulder. You're keeping your posture upright. He's going for sumigaeshi, right?
Yeah.
And now he's gonna try to grab that other lapel hand.
Yeah. Right.
That's when you tuck it and then get that sleeve. Now you've got control of the far sleeve.
Right.
So that's one method. The other one is if you punch the hand in on the collar, he's on the outside. He's looking to grab this sleeve hand, right?
Yeah.
The hand on the lapel. Immediately you grab your own and you try to strip his top side grip.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you kind of like abandon it, forget that side sleeve. So now you're trying to gain full dominance over the lapel hands that are interlocked, right versus left.
Right.
So once that hand comes off, he's like, oh, shoot, I have to get that hand back on. That's when you look for that sleeve or even far collar if you can't get that sleeve.
I
see. Those are two sort of solutions. And it's not so much like what are you doing wrong? You're not really doing anything. The wrong thing is like you punching the hand, you like inside position, he likes outside position, getting settled, he grabs that hand of the sleeve on that lapel hand, he's trying to prevent that shoulder, and now all of a sudden you're looking for that sleeve, you want to have multiple options to prevent getting caught in there, So like that's a good question asked, and that's a good question answer given, because we're both geniuses. Obviously.
So ultimately, I also had trouble establish my sleeve grip too once even if I have a nice inside post. And that's because I'm kind of making things too obvious for him to pull back his arm. Is that what you're saying? The sleeve arm?
No, if you can't get that sleeve, if you can't get it, right?
Even if I get it, he keeps it really tight away from me, so I can't really get the good kuzushi.
Good. So from there, you have that. Your arm is extended, his arm is tucked.
Yeah.
So now from there, if you have a good position on the lapel hand, right, and he's on the outside, you swipe that hand across to the chin and you go cross body ouchigari, and then you drive him.
I see.
You know what I mean? And then as he's stepping out of the ochi, you slowly, incrementally pull that sleeve hand into your hip, and now all of a sudden the game is a little bit changed. That's one way. That's one way. Or like I said, you try to take that lapel hand off by rotating the shoulder and then going back to the lapel of the sleeve, right? And then you go for a sasai, then you bring your body closer to that hand, and now all of a sudden you're in good position.
I see.
Maybe this is too technical for most guys, and then this is the thing: when they text me this stuff through Instagram, I'm not going to write this all out.
You can.
It's not helpful for them. They're not going to be able to read it and like RBL, left hand goes here, sleeve hand, block the shoulder, forearm goes over the bicep. It's not very helpful, So 9 times out of 10, when you're asking me for this kind of a thing, it's not going to be helpful. You have to ask the right question, send me the corresponding video.
Yeah. Well, that's been snipped, like snippets of the exact action that you want to ask questions
and then
about.
You can do a virtual private lesson with me. That's really what it comes down to, because unless we're both fully committed to this conversation, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Right.
You're simply not. And like I told you, man, and on the other side of this whole thing, regarding you, I went to Monroe Jiu-Jitsu in Michigan. A seminar, and one guy specifically asked me. I go with this guy Peter.
Carlo. I love that guy. Yeah.
He's like, I'm a tall lefty. Yeah, Peter kind of does a drop seanagi to the weak side, but not only just does a drop seanagi, but he drops seanagi osotogari drop seanagi, and he alternates. I'm having a very difficult time dealing with it. I get my first hand down, but then he starts turning. What do? And similarly, that was a very good question asked.
Very specific. It's easy, and also what I do there. So
that's exactly what it was, right? So he wasn't as specific in the way he asked. I fight this guy Peter. He's on the podcast with you. I'm like, yes, right. And then immediately when he said it, he's the lefty and he's tall, and we were like, kind of like,
what I do there.
I know what I do. And he goes, he does the drop to this side, and I was like, I'll tell you why that drop seanagi is dangerous.
Yeah.
because he goes Ippon Senagi Osoto and back, and then he like cycles through it as he's looking for the sleeve going for his right side. So okay, here we go. This is what you gotta do, right?
What is
And then
it?
and then one of the things is like sometimes you can't kind of get the first hand out and game that hand.
Yeah.
And every now and then you swat the hand out, and then as you're punching the collar hand in, you go double collar. So now he can't turn to that side.
Oh yeah, double collar. Yeah, I have to reset and then try to regrip when someone has double collar.
So that was a good exchange, you know. But those are very rare. And then if you catch me at a seminar, you know, if you have a gym or you know someone that owns a dojo, and you could have me out there, and if you can ask specifically questions while I'm there, I'm more than happy to answer it. You know, usually half the time it's like after class, hey, this guy, I have a hard time with this guy. Can you help me? It's like, okay, I got 20 minutes. Let's chit chat about it. And then it's a dialogue, you know? Is he righty? Is he lefty? Is he shorter? Is he bigger? He's stronger. You know, you're a green belt. What belt is this guy? He's a black belt. It's like, I can't help you. Whatever specific thing I'm going to tell you, you're not going to be able to do it. And whatever specific thing I may be able to tell you right now, that guy who's on the international circuit, he's going to do 9 other things to counter those things. So I really can't help you is the proper answer. But if it's like 2 yellow belts, this guy keeps beating me, also can't help you because a lot of that stuff is chance. You just don't have enough skill to defend and react and all this. You know, the reaction's even there. But you get like a blue belt versus a brown belt versus a black belt. They're relatively close in skill range, you know, and then they're not, like similar body size, and then they can ask a specific question. I could give 2 or 3 solutions that work really well together. Right? So like that's the way you get, what am I doing wrong? Like that's the way you get an answer out of me or anybody who is capable of answering that question.
So you really have to, this means that as the person who asks the question, the questioner, you have to really do your homework. You have to try to figure out, you have to try to solve the problem first. And then gather data points, what works and what doesn't work. And you have to kind of put more thought into it and then ask the question. I mean, I think this kind of applies to everything, really. Like,
it does. Yeah.
You know, like even in, like I see that a lot in research too, like in engineering, AI, whatever. Like you can't just go to your senior student or professor and say, hey, I don't know what to do. This thing is not working. Then they can't really help you. Like you have to say,
it makes you look like a buffoon too.
What have you done? You know, what are your thoughts? What are your intuitions? Like, you know, a good teacher would ask those questions, and but then it gets
if they want to engage.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It gets frustrating, you know.
Because sometimes I don't want to engage. I'll just like just go for Tomonagi. And like, oh, that's a great answer. But answer the question. Guy's bigger than me. He's stiff armed me. I can't get close. What have you tried? Is the number one thing. Have you watched my videos? I give many solutions.
That's exactly.
Have you tried all these different solutions at one time or another and cycling through them? You know, what moves do you have? I've never done Tomonagi before. Fake Tomonagi and go Kochi, cut the hand. It's like that's not going to help you either, right? So what do you? What do you do? What is your thing? How much does you weigh? How tall are you guys? So many things. But 90% of the time, you know, what did I do wrong? What can I do? You know, most guys just if they don't want to engage, just do Tomonagi, bro. You know? So yeah, you just nailed it.
I think it's like like what kind of papers have you read? Like just like that. Like what kind of videos have you watched? What techniques have you been working on? What are you? So you kind of, and then once you show that you've done your research, you've tried your best. I mean, it's more likely that people will engage with you.
Yes, if you tried to help yourself already. You know, and you could demonstrate that right off the conversation right away, then I'm much more likely to help. It's like the guy on the side of the road trying to flag people down for help. But then if you're already trying to push your car and do it, people will jump out of their car and help, much more likely to help you.
Because there's more specific things that people can help rather than something abstract. I like, oh, do you even have a jack? Do you have a spare tire? You know, people are not going to go and ask, like try to... You know, unless they're super, super nice.
Oh, my car doesn't start. What's wrong with it? It's like, I don't know, man. Like, what? You know, like...
That's so many causes. And But
So anyway, yeah, Drew, Jason, Levon, Joe, thank you very much for your sponsoring the podcast. JudoTV.com, best place to watch judo. I'm going to go to Tokyo Grand Slam and commentate, so that's going to be spectacular. Discount code
man.
Shintaro. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
HigashiBrand.com. And
your seminars coming up?
yeah, I'm doing a bunch of seminars. I have a tour in the Netherlands. A lot of people have been reaching.
Huh?
Yeah, so if you guys are interested, you could reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm doing a bunch of seminars. I like to do 2 or 3 per location, like in the region. Kind of make it worth my time to go out there.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I just attended his seminar in Michigan.
It was
Shojin.
Loved seeing it.
Yeah. He had the best uke ever.
Best uke ever.
Well, he had 2. He had the lightweight guy and me.
Yeah.
And then he had Christian Gurlis.
Yep.
With the lefty, and then he could demonstrate all his
lefty stuff.
Lefty stuff. It was amazing. Hey guys, I have to say, I'm not gonna spoil a lot, but it's different. His seminar is different. I've attended quite a few seminars. Shintaro's seminar is more practical. If I have to say, like few descriptors, and you can apply things right away. So, it's very good. So, make sure to check it out.
We're doing it's $3,000 flat fee for the session. 2 hours. So, you guys don't even have to ask me about that.
Yeah.
And then if I could do 2 at a gym, I will pay for a flight and hotel out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Given that it's not in Australia. So, but yes, when I go to one of these things, if you can be a little bit more specific about your questions after the seminar, before the seminar, maybe give me a couple of videos up ahead, I could definitely help you.
Yeah.
But you have to help yourself first. You have to be able to tell me what the issues are. And, by the time you do your study,
a lot of time,
look into it, look at some videos, and I ask all these questions. A lot of these brown and black belts come up with the solution themselves already.
Yeah.
So
that's why you want to get there. Want to get to anyway.
What am I doing wrong? So common.
Yeah. How about so let's kind of end the podcast with the other side, like as a teacher.
Yeah.
Like when someone comes up to you saying just kind of vague question, they haven't helped themselves yet. What am I doing wrong? What would be the best way to handle that situation?
Yeah. So majority of the time, at the end of the class, they took a beating or something.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong? And my go-to answer is, I honestly was more focused on people not getting injured.
Yeah.
You specifically, I wasn't watching with the intent of diagnosing your skill, but I was just watching to make sure you're kept safe.
Yeah.
And then I'll give an example. You went for these things. It was kind of dangerous. You almost got taken down. You almost put your hand down here. That's kind of dangerous. I'm not really watching why you were getting thrown, but if you give me a heads up ahead of time next time, I will keep an eye out for you. But if you're not coming consistently, I'm not going to help you. You can't come once every 3 weeks and expect me to help you and have all my time and capital and take all my time. I'm not going to be able to do that, but you come consistently, you show me you're serious, and then I'm much more likely to help you, So that's an answer that I will give in the room majority of the time. And if it's a beginner that just started, who just signed up for a membership, I'm not going to give him I'm not going to help you because whatever it is, you got to prove yourself. I'm not going to do that. Majority of the time, it's like, hey, you're not doing anything wrong. You're showing up. You're trying the things. Of course, there's a skill gap. That guy's very good. He's bigger, stronger, faster. He's been at it for 6 years, for 5 months, or whatever it is. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great.
Which is the right answer at that time.
Which is the right answer, yeah. And you're going to feel better. And then, if you're still having the same problems, if you're still getting taken down with the same thing 3 months from now, I'll definitely keep an eye on you and we'll help you specifically. But right now, it doesn't matter if you get taken down. You should get taken down. Of course you're going to get taken down.
Yeah. And then that will hopefully encourage the student to keep try to help themselves, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll notice more things, and then they'll move up the ranks, and they eventually at the skill level of brown and black belts, you can they're probably at the point where we can have this kind of more constructive, specific discussion about strategies, I guess.
And here's another good one too. You kind of empower the students who are intermediate advanced in the room. For instance, this guy goes, hey, I wrestled. I want to do a fireman's carry, a kataguma. How can I adapt this to my judo game? I went for it a few times. I kept grabbing the legs, or I can't get. He steps to the other side. What can I do? It's like, you know what? Ben has a nasty kataguma. Carlos has a nasty kataguma. You see them all the time. They're loitering after practice every single day. Stay after and ask them. I'm sure they'll give you a great answer.
That's
right. So that's something that I do. somebody does a Uchimata fake into Tomonage. I can't get the Tomonage to work. Nick does it. He's studying it right now. He's not great at it yet, but he's been working on it. So why don't you get some information from him and then at least kind of get caught up on the fundamentals of the mechanics of this technique. And then when you still can't do it, then I'll step in and I'll help you. But right now, you go talk to Nick.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not like a dickish, like standoffish way to say it. You just kind of.
Yeah. It's like that happens a lot in research too, in PhD. Like when a professor will be like, okay.
Yeah.
When an undergrad comes up to you or to the professor,
undergrad,
hey, I know, and they'll be like, "Hey, one of my PhD students is working in that area, actively researching that area. Why don't you go to talk to them first, and then get some information, maybe?" And then it's like, maybe then the PhD student will be like, "Okay, I think you're good enough. Maybe you can talk to this postdoc, and then try to, start your own research project. And then once you kind of prove that, you can hold your own, you get to work with a professor directly or something." It kind of happens like that. I think that's a pretty good setup, I think, because there's so much like skill gap and vision gap when you're first starting out, so you have to kind of catch up on things. And
I hope this helps the instructors too, because there's guys who are just like, you're not pulling hard enough. And they're just kind of like, it's like such an easy go-to. There's not enough kazushi. They just kind of have these like prefabricated like go-to things. Like I know, I know everything. Like
you're not watching you're not checking your time enough.
Yeah. So hope this helps everybody. What am I doing wrong? It's a huge thing in grappling. Majority of the time when you're asking the teacher, he's not paying attention. Right? Because you can't pay attention to every role in the room. You just cannot. Every randori round, no way. It's like 20 guys going at once, 10 guys going at once. You're concerned about safety and matchups.
It should
Majority
be
of the time, they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not paying attention to me. Yeah. You mean to tell me you're asking something that happened 20 seconds in, on mat number 3, while there were 13 other guys grappling, like halfway through practice. Yeah. I can't help you yet, but if you're on the radar and if you could ask the right questions, give me the right context.
Yeah.
Yes. These kinds of things.
Cool. I think this was a great discussion.
Great discussion. You added so much value to this episode, I think, with XY testing. What is it?
The XY problem. I wish I was able to articulate better, but there's a good Wikipedia article on it, guys. The XY problem. I think I encounter it all the time, and it really makes things faster when you recognize that. So you actually have to ask, what do you actually want to do? Instead of like trying to solve
what are your goals.
What are you actually trying to accomplish?
Yeah,
because you might know a better solution than what they're trying to do. Because a lot of times people ask this questions about their supposed solution, which may not be optimal, which kind of happens in this situation, right? Yeah, you'd be like, people try to go for crazy things, throws that they saw on YouTube, but they may not be the right things to do.
Yeah. I had that. Hey, this guy keeps throwing my leg by in jits. Like, what I do is like, just invert. Like, I've never done that before, but I was invert in the. I mean, now I could, but at the time that was so foreign to me. I was like, okay, that seems kind of easy.
Exactly. So a lot of times
that's not a real solution. You didn't ask enough questions. I was thinking that it's like there's no. Maybe I didn't ask the right question either.
Yeah. So that's why it has to be a discussion, and you have to kind of dig deep to identify the right problem. What is the actual problem?
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.